Hello, dear friends. Welcome to Kardec Radio, where we're here to nourish our souls. I'm Norah, the host of this program, thoughts by Joanna de Angelis and Divaldo Franco. Through this book, amazing book, all these messages, friends, are coming from the middle portion of the book entitled Consciousness and Health. So we are trying to deepen our understanding of consciousness or awareness and how it comes into alignment to our health, not just our physical, but the emotional and the spiritual component, friends, as we navigate life. And today's message, it's absolutely beautiful. It really does brighten up our 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 little tools that we have, right? A little box of tools that we might have to continue navigating. So let us begin. It says, knowledge illuminates the conscious, especially in connection with attaining beauty, love, and wisdom. This is beautiful, right? We see a lot of social media trying to lure us into what is beauty, love, and wisdom. And Joanna and Divaldo couldn't say it better to remind us that all of these things, while they're beautiful in the human experience, they're part of our spiritual journey, right? In this journey as spiritual beings, experiencing life on earth, indeed we encounter many challenges and lessons. Yet, one of the greatest gifts that we have on this path is the opportunity to seek knowledge, right? But it's not just any kind of knowledge, it's that kind that uplifts, enlightens, and brings us closer to the divine attributes of beauty, love, and wisdom. So now we're seeing the components of what it means to be here, friends, at least to our understanding. So before we go into the other parts of beauty, love, and wisdom, let's kind of break down what she means by knowledge, right? And yes, it's easy to focus on facts and information because that is knowledge. However, true knowledge in Spiritism goes beyond that, right? It's a deep understanding, it's an inner transformation, it's that place that illuminates the conscious, or it's a knowledge, it's an information that grows in awareness, empathy, and clarity. So it inspires us to look within, understand our motives, and become more mindful of our thoughts, words, and actions. And now we see that, yes, when we are in this balance, and we know Jesus, right, is the master who was in this state of balance between the facts and also the Spiritism knowledge. Now, we have this beautiful book, Thought in Life, by Chico and Emmanuel. And chapter 10, entitled Understanding, can really come in and deepen our understanding of what this means. Emmanuel says, the individual interested in producing mental reflections that protect their path will not do without understanding as the foundation of their renewing work. So if we really want to manifest and grow and all these things that we see online and it's so beautiful, we have to remember that the foundations of that is to willingly or consciously be wanting to intake the understanding. That means it's renewing work. So the word renewing means it's over and over. But what's so beautiful, as Emmanuel also says in that same chapter, we're all inevitably enveloped in the mental wave that we emit from ourselves, operating in a natural circuit. So once we're in this understanding, right, to self-check ourselves, let's remember that a mental wave is energy. So understanding comes in this energy levels. And just as we understand, like, in order for me to determine the difference between fact and opinion or a reliable source, right? We do know that in spiritual terms, mental wave or vibrations or energy, those are the sources that we can count on to help us understand, right, what is knowledge. And so when we find ourselves wondering this, all it would take is a couple of seconds to look within and feel that mental wave. And that feeling that we get will give us that learning experience or understanding that we are getting from Joanna's message, but also cross-referencing with Emmanuel. And so here we get into the deeper thing, the path to beauty. Because Joanna's saying, hey, knowledge is also beauty, which is great, right? Because beauty, it's not limited to appearances. It really is a reflection of inner harmony and balance. So we have a lot of unfortunate trends that beauty is looking a certain way or being other ways, right? But in this time of awareness, because of this knowledge, we're starting to understand that beauty is what's on the inside, right? It's not that it's not, we don't put maybe us ladies like, oh, I feel beautiful putting some lipstick on and I know I look, no, there's nothing wrong with that. But friends, let's be real, right? If our focus is just on that materialistic aspect, how can we grow in understanding beauty, right? That's kind of what Joanna is saying. So when we pursue knowledge that enriches our souls, naturally, we're going to begin to see beauty in everything around us. So it isn't just about me anymore. It's about everything, right? Like we appreciate the intricate designs of nature, like maybe we're walking, right? We see something. The kindness in others. Have we ever just stopped? We just look at someone in the eyes and like, wow, man, this person is kind. Have we ever done that, friends? And like the unique qualities even in ourselves. If we struggle to see beauty, this is important for us. That means that we got to work on that knowledge in this aspect, right? Because beauty is a divine quality, and it is one that's revealed to us as we open our hearts and mind. So now we start to see that true beauty is a shine from within. It grows stronger as we embrace our spiritual journey with love and purpose. Let's go real quick here before we continue with our thoughts, because Emmanuel in the same chapter says something that I think can help us be related to Joanna's message. We are categorized as good or bad, Emmanuel says, depending on the use of our feelings and thoughts, which at their core are charges of electromagnetic energy with which would wound or nurture, help or harm, vitalize or destroy, and which invariably return to us infused with the happy or unhappy resources with which we mark their path. So let us take this idea that Joanna says, knowledge and beauty, they're connected, right? And we hear it's about, oh, beauty is within, and a lot of us might, yeah, yes, I'm beautiful inside. And yet we look at ourselves in the mirror and we have a different perception of us. And it's okay, it's part of our learning. If anything, we need to do this, right? We need to look at ourselves and let all those feelings just pour out. But at one point, after we acknowledge who we are and we have that awareness, a lot of us are going to need to do some to-do lists, right? I need to check off some stuff to do because that's why we're reincarnated, to work on ourselves. So if we are seeing things in the mirror that are not beautiful, right? That means that maybe we need to take a deeper, closer look at our actions that Emmanuel, right, is helping us to understand. Because if we're kind of in this electromagnetic energy that's a little bit lighter, it's a little bit more Jesus, Christ conscious, a little bit of love, compassion, right, helping others. A lot of the times when we do have those tough moments in front of the mirror, am I beautiful enough? There's going to come some form of a wave in some form of understanding, right? This is where Joanna comes in, where we find it in us to see that beauty, whether it's us in the mirror or even those around us. And even better, can we see beauty in someone like an enemy, right? So again, this is a hard talk. It's not easy. And that's why it's school, learning. If school, we could finish it in 1 year, wouldn't it be great? But we don't. How many years do we go to school? How many times we have to repeat lessons and how many tests? So this beauty idea, it's very tough, but it's good to talk about it. And it's good for us to be vulnerable because we all at some point or are struggling, and that's okay. And we have ideas, and there's a lot of literature on how to raise that vibration, to come to that understanding of what beauty is. But knowledge is love too. And this is another huge thing that we're all looking for, right? So love is that driving force of our creation. And it's like, right. So we've come so much to this idea that love is to be with a partner or just to love my family, that we're forgetting that it's a force. It's an energy of creation, right? That's why when Joanna is trying to help us understand awareness, we're already seeing it completely different. Loving our family, loving our partners are part of the process, but not everything. So knowledge without love is cold and unfulfilling, but knowledge illuminated by love becomes a force of compassion and unity. And we can see how important this is in our relationships as well and in our roles. When we seek knowledge with a loving heart, we recognize the importance of kindness, forgiveness, and understanding, right? So we start to see that love transforms our knowledge into wisdom, guiding us to be more patient and gentle with ourselves and others. And through love, our knowledge becomes a tool for a healing connection, fostering a world where we uplift one another. So yes, having a love for our partner, embracing that love is beautiful. For our children is so important. That's the whole purpose of reincarnatory plans. But now let's take it up a notch. That's what Joanna is saying. Let's go in there and understand. Now let's look at the harder people to love, the harder places, the harder things. How can we come and use this force for the good, in other words, right? So Emmanuel, he's just going to give it to us, really, from this chapter. He says, when we are angry and irritable, aggressive and harsh towards others, we create the reflexive activity, discouragement, and intemperance, cruelty and harshness for ourselves, and we are generous and understanding, helpful and useful to those around us. We consequently create joy and tranquility, security, and good cheer for ourselves. This is love, right, friends? So what good does it do when we're in some situation, a relationship, right? But we're not really showing this love that Joanna is saying, the Christ conscious love. And then we get upset, right? Because we're not, the love that we want to seek is not being reciprocated. So when that happens, this is not a one way. Remember, friends, it's not I'm right or wrong. It's like, let's sit together, have conversations. One possibility, could it be that I'm not in this, with this open heart, truly loving. Even though I feel I'm in a relationship, I'm with my friends, with my family, I might be putting up walls around me, right? Because as we're gaining knowledge, right, we know that we're almost chiseling things away. So the first thing, it's okay that we find ourselves in this. It's okay. But now that I have the awareness that maybe I've been too irritable, or maybe I haven't been thinking about the other people, the other partner, or etc. I've only been thinking about myself. When we have that awareness, we realize that perhaps that's why we're not receiving at the other end. So Emmanuel and Joanna are like, okay, come on, what do we do? What do we do? Then that's where that mental wave comes in. We do those exercises that are difficult, take us out of our comfort zone, but they help us to really embrace that love and that knowledge. And all of a sudden, even our relationships, they are different, aren't they? They're not this idea, again, social media portrays love as this Disney love, and it's beautiful and it's great. And maybe we can have versions and pieces of it. But at the same time, I know that love is also me doing the work, being that student, crossing off, redoing, replanning, coming back, enjoying, and just being in this constant learning. It's not one way. And the happily ever after endings, or, all of these things, they're metaphors for us, And I think they're beautiful because they keep us with hope, right? But at the same time, I also have to remember the human experience. So the balance, friends, so that we don't give up. Because one of the worst things, especially when it comes to love, is really putting up those walls around us, giving up, and not opening up to that experience, right? And Emmanuel just real quickly says, life responds to us in other things and other beings according to our call. So until we enter cosmic consciousness, all beings are distinguished by the face of light with which they ascend the heights of evolution and the face of shadow by which they still suffer the influence of the past. This is why the force of love, we see it's an energy because we're in this cosmos consciousness, right? And Joanna is saying it's an awareness, it's a practice. And we see here from another lens that love is going to be that force to help us ascend to heights of evolution, friends. And then we have the pursuit of wisdom, which is interesting because we think of knowledge and wisdom, and are they the same or what? And we see here, wisdom is often seen as the culmination of knowledge and experience, but it's more than that. It's an alignment of our actions with the higher laws of the universe. It's knowing when to act, when to listen, and when to simply be present, right? It's the understanding that life has a purpose, that every experience is a lesson, and that our spiritual growth is a continuous journey. So when we cultivate wisdom, one, we're better equipped to navigate life's challenges, and two, we can contribute to the collective growth of humanity. So, Emmanuel, just to cross-reference Joanna in this same chapter, understanding, it gives us something for us to think about in wisdom. To humble one's self, to help without losing stature, is to ensure the improvement of all, emphasizing one's own sublimation. However, only the tireless practice of understanding can guarantee us the indispensable balance in the work of self-refinement, in which we must invest our best dreams, since only pure love can create in our mind the energy of divine light expanding from us in reflections of protective renewal. Here we have same thing. To find the balance, it has to be a tireless practice of understanding. And this is where that wisdom comes in, right? We always say as we get older, we get wiser because we've gone through so many years and we start to know ourselves, we know what to do, we have all these circumstances, and we realize it's the work, and we already know we have our tools, and we don't stop. And that's the beauty of wisdom. We can use it now. And then when we're there, the divine light expands from within and out. And that's the beauty of wisdom. So friends, as spiritists, we are invited to walk a path of light, right? Joanna and Divaldo beautifully put it for us. Where knowledge serves as a guide toward our higher selves. We transform ourselves from within by embracing knowledge that illuminates the conscious and awakens a life filled with beauty, love, and wisdom. We begin to understand the world around us. And in doing so, we contribute to a brighter, more compassionate, and spiritually evolved world now. That's a TikTok for us to win all those things, huh? Right? But we can do it, friends. The work, it's worth it. Again, let us not find it's the letter A, B, C, or D, right? It's an open-ended exercise for us to really try to be, if anything we learned, knowledge is that wave energy, that frequency, those magnetic forces, right, that we saw with Emmanuel, to cross-reference the spirit, the emotional part that Joanna is helping us. So all week, we do, I'm aware, pay attention to everything. Do I see the beauty? Am I the love? And is my wisdom empowering me to continue moving forward? Dear friends, that is today's lesson. Until next week, same place, same time. And let us tune into other programs here at Kardec Radio. We have a little bit of everything. And always let us remember that we are loved Bye, friends. Thank you so much. Bye bye.